Hey, what's up, homies? It's been a while, and I'm back. It's 2026, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a post I did on LinkedIn last week called "Confessions and Convictions," which is also the name of this post. And most of what's in this post or this episode of Substack is what I posted on LinkedIn, and just got incredible support, outpouring, lots of comments and interaction on that post, and basically. Uh, just heading into 2026 with some clarity. The last couple months, I've been reflecting and praying and preparing my heart for not only 2026, but I just turned 50 on January 7th, and so I'm heading into my fifth decade, my 50th year, and really reflecting on, well, what have I learned, and how's my life changed in the last couple of years. And there's just been a lot that's gone on, and I'm so excited to head into this new year. The biggest thing for me, or one of the biggest things, is exercise. I've just neglected exercise for the last several decades, and kind of had a moment within my family. I had some kind of weird health, relatively minor health issues at the end of last year. And it all just was pointing me towards the fact that I need to be responsible with my body. So I basically am putting this out there to my community for people to, bring it up in conversation. If you think about it, you can feel free to check in with me. Hey, Johnny, you exercising? My goal is not my goal. My promise is to be exercising 4 times a week. So to be working out 4 times a week. And so far I'm starting strong, and I've got good systems in place to make sure that happens throughout the rest of the year. So feel free to check in with me on that. And then the other thing is really the Superpower Quest journey. I've been on it with you, right? So I'm inviting other people into this journey, but I've been on this journey, learning and figuring out how does this vessel work? How does my design work? And I feel like I've discovered 4 levers. And so, through trial and error and testing and creativity, I've kind of found these things over the last couple of years as I've gotten much more serious about living out my design with excellence, which is what the Superpower Quest is all about. So those 4 things are, for me, connections. And that is both connecting with people and then making connections between people based on just a deep understanding and love of people. That is like my jam. Y'all know this. If you're here, you already know this. So number 1 is connection. It's the 4 C's. The 4 C's. Number 1 is connection. Number 2 is creativity. I love to create. And specifically, this is like poetry and creative writing. And so that's my commitment is writing for 5 minutes a day at 90% consistency. That's my creativity goal, or my creativity lever for this year. And then associated with that, I am going to be formally publishing my first book in the Solomon series. And Solomon is my poetry slash fantasy adventure that I'm writing. And so the first book is called Sapphire Eyes, and I'll be publishing that this year. It's already written and done. So first is connections, and I forgot to tell you my goal for connections is making at least 2 strategic introductions per week on average. So that's connections, creativity, content, producing at least 2 pieces of content every week on average, like what we're doing, and then coaching. Well, actually, my goal for content. Oh yeah, I just told you that. Coaching. And when I say coaching, I don't mean it in like the necessarily the traditional sense. It's basically any interactions where I get to coach people upwards, or encourage people upwards, or invite people upwards into their true identity and their design. A greater understanding and grasp of how they're built, and how they can operate, what they can do in the world based on how they're built, that brings the most joy and the most effectiveness in the world. And so the goal there is calling people upwards into their true identity and design through meetings and superpower profiles, which is at least 2 sessions or profiles per week. And so profiles, if some of you know this, I've started like taking information that people are giving me and creating integrated profiles for them. So a couple big annual accomplishments: published my second book, and then multiple, like 2 getaways with my wife and 2 family getaways. So I'm throwing this all out here just to invite you also into this. It's not too late to start thinking about 2026 and how to make it the best year ever. And part of that comes from really just understanding your superpower, understanding your passions and your dreams, and then taking the time to start documenting this, and inviting your community into the conversation, right? Like it makes it harder to ignore. It makes it more real almost when you let the people around you know what you're doing. So that's what I got for you today, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.